Hello and welcome everybody. What is going on? So it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been quite a long time. Quite frankly, I think it's been like 3 months or so since the last one, since the last manga pickup. So I guess this is the first one of 2018, which is also quite an achievement because, well, I don't know. We made it in 2018, I guess. We're still here in 2018, which I didn't expect. So, for this manga pickup, I kind of wanted to buy like a few different things, a few things that I'm not gonna read immediately. So a few things that are more so for the future, and then there's a lot of things that I have read and or have watched and then want to start reading. So there are, from what and there's one thing that has been recommended to me on Discord for like the longest time. So I thought you might as well pick it up. So in terms of like the manga that I've got three that are not the usual things. They are usually in these manga pickup videos I've got like certified things, and out of those three, two of them I won't read. And then I've got how many? I think six of just like, you know, your regular stuff, basically your regular stuff that I pick up during these manga picks because I want to actually finish those collections, and I'm not anywhere close to doing that. So I feel like we're starting with like the regulars. And what is the best way to start? Let's start with this one. The first one of the series, and something that I've started watching, I think, when did I start? Like 2 months ago? 1 month ago? I don't think it might be. I don't know whether it's that long or not. But it is, of course, Haikyuu. Haikyuu, the first volume of the manga. Yeah, you know, obviously now that I'm actually watching the series, I decided let's pick up the manga too. So obviously this is just the first volume, Haikyuu Volume 1, because I thought if I'm watching it, I might as well pick up something from it to essentially support the creator and whatnot. So that's what we've got here. Now, as I'm progressing through this through the season, of course, I'll pick up more and more until I reach the point where the anime stops, and then obviously continue the anime whenever the fourth season. I think, yeah, if there's 3 seasons out right now, and whenever the fourth season comes back, so I'll continue buying more and more, so I can read more and more. But yeah, overall, very, very good so far. The show has been very, very good so far. And I've only read like the first page or so, the first chapter or so of this volume, so it's not like I've read much of it, but it's still very, very enjoyable just to go through the beginnings again, which is kind of funny because considering I've just finished season 1, and it's been quite fast to be fair. You know, I finished season 1 in like a good month or a month and a half, so it's been quite a short while. So I picked that up, Haikyuu Volume 1, which I guess now kind of comes into like, you know, the part of the regulars. You know, you're gonna see Haikyuu much more in the future in these manga pickups now that I've actually, you know, started watching the show. So that's what you'll see from here on out. Next up, I feel like we're gonna start with, what should we start with next? Let's start with something that I'm not, that if not, no, you know what, let's start with something that I've actually got a few from. I've got not a few from, but a few off, and that is One Piece, and this is volume 84. As you can see here, that's volume 84, which, you know, I believe it just released a few months ago, like a month ago or so. Obviously the last one I bought was volume 83 in the last video, so I thought, you know, volume 84 is out now, so I picked it up. Very, very good volume. Has one of my favorite things in here from the current arc, not to obviously spoil anything, but it has one of my favorite things in here from the current arc, and overall just a very, very enjoyable, two of my favorite things. Now that I've just skimmed through it, has 2 of my favorite things from the current arc in here, so I decided, you know what, let's pick it up. So that's volume 84. It's very, very shiny. You can hardly see anything. That's how reflective everything is, you know. But that's volume 84 of One Piece. Then I've also, what should we do next? Let's do with this, an underrated series that I feel like I wish more people would have picked up back when it was still airing, and now that obviously the manga is coming out the manga volumes are coming out, I wish more people would get into this series because it's a very, very good series. Personally, it's my number 3 manga of all time, and that is Torico. I know that's volume 39. I know a lot of people have like this issue. You can just see the freak with his 3 tongues here. But a lot of people obviously have an issue with the final arc of Torico. I'm personally a fan of it. I'll be totally honest. I'm personally a fan of it. Not to obviously go into detail, not obviously to spoil anything, but I personally feel like the final arc, while it could have been much, much better, you know, I'm still reading it week to week and then watching live reactions to that week to week from King of Lightning. Well, that's basically what I did for like a straight 2-year period, where just every day every week I just would read it, and I would just be like, yeah, you know, it might not be like the greatest thing ever, the final arc, but it was so enjoyable that I was just really, really looking forward to it on a weekly basis. And it almost gave me like that Dragon Ball Z vibe, you know, the final arc. Where like you would read it and you just always be on the edge of your seat. It may not make sense at all. Like you may just be thinking like, how is this actually happening? But it was just that fun. And this volume starts pretty much like kicks off almost like perhaps the volume before this almost kicks off like the final arc. Or you could see it's debatable when it kicks off, to be fair. But just very, very fun. Again, very underrated. It's my favorite. See a little dude here. My favorite battle shonen of all time. My top 5 in terms of manga would probably be number 1, One Piece, number 2, Berserk, number 3, Torico, number 4, Detective Conan, and number 5, I don't know. I always had Piano no Mori as my number 5th, but slowly Kingdom is slowly slowly taking that spot. So not yet, but sooner or later I believe Kingdom will take that spot. Anyway, Torico, very, very good manga. Very underrated. You know, it's a manga about food, so not a lot of people will obviously like to get into it because it is a battle shonen that is very related to food. So it's not the Shokugeki no Soma where, you know, food is more so just a vehicle of of the story. Here in it, the food is pretty much the key aspect of it, in a way. So next up, I've got Gintama Volume 12, with a nice picture of Takazugi. I butchered that name, I know, I always butcher that name, which is why I don't mention his name ever. But you've got a nice picture of him at the front. Gintama Volume 12, if the light wasn't so reflective. Now, this volume has, I believe this volume has, that's a nice spread. But yeah, this volume has pretty much like the first I was gonna say like the first major arc, but it's not really the first major arc. It is just the arc that, you know, you look at, and, you know, I'm talking about Benizakura here, right? Without going into any details, that's what I'm talking about, and that's essentially what this one has. Obviously I did the movie to that, and I just wanted to pick it up. I just thought, you know, continue the Gintama collection, which obviously now I've got, I think, how many have I actually got of Gintama? I've had 5 already, so this would be my 6th one. So there it is, Gintama Volume 12. Again, with a nice picture of Takazuki. Screw it, I can't say it. Next up, I have a double collection of Case Closed, aka Detective Conan, depending on where you live. So that's Case Closed, Volume 14. You know, very, very minimalistic volume, almost like a very, very simple volume. Introduces some very nice characters. Also, obviously has has some of the fan favorite characters. Not, you know, the top 3 characters, because those obviously appear much later. But just very, very good volume, very, very fun volume, very, very interesting volume, and overall just a very good volume to pick up. I think it's one of the things that I want to grow my collection, but obviously there's like 90 volumes, so it's gonna take a very long time. But we'll pick it up slowly as we go. So that's Volume 14. And I also picked up Volume 21 of Case Closed, aka Detective Conan. If you look at the 2 volumes side by side, they look very, very similar. It's just like, you know, Conan just standing in front of like a spotlight, with like the spotlight coming from the top left corner. So, you know, very, very minimalistic, but very, very simple volume covers. This one obviously being Volume 21. Which again introduces some very, very, I feel like, very underrated characters almost. Characters that, you know, you're like, oh yeah, like you know who they are. You know, in the future, like you always remember them and whatnot. But it's not like they're not going to be characters that are, you know, in your top 3 or even top 5 characters. They're just characters that, you know, you always appreciate to see in the manga. You always appreciate to see in the show. So that's volume 21 of Case Closed, aka Detective Conan. And now in terms of the 3 things that I mentioned that I picked up, all for various reasons. So which one should we start with? I say let's start with this. The Summit of the Gods by the artist by Yuro Taniguchi and the script by Yuimakura Baku. So the Summit of the Gods, now this has been recommended endlessly on Discord by somebody, the name being somebody, the nickname being somebody. I've not read through it, but he's like the person, like on Discord, he's the person that just reads manga. He's the person that has pretty much read every single thing in a way. So him saying that, you know, that he recommends the Summit of the Gods that much, I thought, you know, let's pick up the first volume. I think there are like 5 volumes or 6 volumes in total. So this is the very first one. And yeah, I might do like my first impressions and then a review of this once I actually start reading it. But again, I was just recommended by him because I think according to him it's like his top 3 favorite manga. So I was like, okay, we need to check it out. Now in terms of the art looks very, very detailed, very modern. You know, not very traditional, but like very, very modern. A very, very modern look. Yeah, it looks like art-wise, it looks very, very nice. It looks very, very modern, and we'll see how the story actually holds up. Like I said, I'll probably do like a first impressions and then overall a review of this once I actually finish reading the first volume. Just to, you know, give you guys a good idea if you guys are interested. If you want to pick it up and you're still on the fence or whatever, then I'll do that. You know, so that's the Summit of the Gods, Volume 1, which is the first of the 3 different kind of things that I picked up. Now the second one is what should we show next? Let's show this because let's show this. That is Monster Volume 1. Now I'm not gonna read this for a very simple reason. Probably tomorrow or the day after I'm gonna be starting Monster. I've been planning to start Monster now since 2 weeks ago. Since 2 weeks ago I've been planning to start Monster, not the manga but the anime. I've already got it all downloaded, you know, already just ready to start, basically just ready to watch, but I've just been so busy with assignments and whatnot that I decided, you know what, let's start once I actually finish with assignments. And since I finished my assignment on Monday, I've not been feeling well, so I'm not feeling well right now at all. I've got a headache, so that's why I've not been starting Monster, not been doing anything pretty much, but I picked it up regardless. You know, I picked the volume up just so I've actually got something of this show. So just so you know, I pretty much support the person that made it, which would be Naoki Urasawa. I basically support him or his show by picking up something. And obviously once I've actually read the show, once I've actually watched the show, then I can actually read this as well, and obviously pick up the future volumes and whatnot too. So I picked it up not with the intention to read right now, but with the intention to read once I've actually watched episodes up to the point where this volume finishes. So that's Monster Volume 1. Again, I kind of just spoiled it. I mean, again, I've been wanting to start Monster now since like the last 2 months, at least 3 months or so. Ever since it's been recommended to me to watch it. You know, I've been basically forced to watch it at this point. So I've been like just waiting, you know, until I've actually much more of a free schedule to actually start the show, and it looks like that's going to be sometime this week. It's probably either tomorrow or Sunday. Best time would probably be Sunday. Let's start it Sunday. Let's have, again, I have a schedule that I don't really stick to be totally honest here. But let's stick the schedule to Sunday. So like on Sundays we're gonna do Monster again. It's most likely gonna be 1 week that way, and then like the week after that I'll probably forget sticking to the schedule. But again, we're probably gonna start on Sunday with the first let's say the first episode, and then on Monday I'm going to upload 3 more. So you just have 1 episode for one, and then the next day 3 more episodes. Yeah, but that's Monster. So the last one of the volumes that I picked up is also going to be something that I'm not going to read anytime soon, and that one I'm probably not going to read for at least the next, give or take, 5 months, let's say. I'm not going to read it for the next 5 months, at least, I think, because it is something that I promised someone a while ago, pretty much like half a year ago, that I would ultimately do live reactions to once I finished Kingdom. I'm obviously not anywhere close to finishing Kingdom. I wanted to do a Kingdom double this week, but because again I've not been feeling well at all, that's just not been the case. So once I actually feel well, the first thing I'll probably do is do a Kingdom double. That's just the fact, because I want to read how it continues. But yeah, this will be the next manga after Kingdom, basically, that I'll do live reactions for in terms of manga series, starting a manga series, and that would be Naoki Urasawa's 20th Century Boys. And I guess I've got 2 things by Naoki Urasawa, and that's 20th Century Boys. Now again, this has been recommended to me by Cunning Linguist, aka Nick. He also does reactions, not much anymore. He does Torico reactions. Hey, and that was ultimately the deal. Like, he starts Torico reactions, and ultimately I'll do 20th Century Boys reactions once I finish Kingdom. So now you know that that's after Kingdom, I guess. And I won't read the physical volume, this thing in my hand right here, anytime soon, because again I'm not gonna finish Kingdom anytime soon. It's like 600 chapters. So this will probably, I just bought that really because it wasn't on discount, and I thought, you know what, if it's on discount, it might, you know, I don't know when the next time will be that it will be on discount. So I just thought I'll buy it. Obviously I won't read it just yet, but it's nice to have ultimately, once I actually get to the actual manga, that I can then obviously compare the translations, I guess, you know, with the official This Media translation and obviously the scanlation online. So that's 20th Century Boys, and that's pretty much everything I got. Now this was actually all bought by the Book Depository, which gave me like this nice little thing. You know, they always give you like this nice little like bookmark, but I like this one in particular. Just an asterisk one. I've always been a huge fan of like asterisks. Just such a fun, just such a huge part of my childhood, to be totally honest. You know, just so I'm very glad about that. That they always give like one of these, just a random one. I mean, the other 3 that I got was something totally different, but this one in particular I just really like, because I just like that series so much. So yeah, that's pretty much all I bought this time. I mean, pretty much all I bought. Sounds like I didn't buy much. But again, it's not as much, and it's mainly just the regular stuff, which is, of course, let me just go through it once more. All in all, so you've got Case Closed, Volume 21, Case Closed, Volume 14. The lightning is just terrible, isn't it? Case Closed, Volume 14. Nope, just terrible. It's just so reflective. But yeah, that's Volume 14. Gintama, Volume 12. Terrico, Volume 39. With this grotesque being on the front. One Piece, Volume 84. Which I need to, like, in terms of just my One Piece collection, I've not got that much. Like, you can see it pretty much ends right, where does it end? Like, it ends right here. So, you know, considering that's Volume 84, I've got a long ways to go. I've got like, give or take 20, 21, 22 volumes or so. So that's Volume 84. Next up, obviously, Haikyuu, Volume 1, which ends at, what does it actually end? I've not even checked. Okay. Okay. Obviously, not to go into any details for those that obviously haven't seen Haikyuu or haven't read Haikyuu, it ends at an interesting spot. That's where I'll leave it at. So that's Haikyuu, Volume 1. 20th Century Boys, 20th Century Boys, I need to pronounce it correctly, and Monster, Volume 1, which again we'll be starting most likely on Sunday this week. Yeah, probably Sunday this week. And then you've got the Summit of the Gods. Awesome. So that's all I picked up this time. Again, most of these two things won't be read anytime soon. That I'll probably do a first impressions of, and then ultimately a review. Maybe once I finish the whole series, or maybe once I've just finished the first volume. Depends on how good it really is. And if it's really, really good, I'll do a review just so people that wanna, I guess, find something, or find something new, they know what to pick up. So I'll see once I've actually finished that, once I've actually finished reading that. Which reminds, I should do a review of Solani. That's something I've been thinking about for the longest, but I've not really started. I could grab it right now, but I'll do a review probably for it sooner or later. And yeah, so that's all I picked up this time. For those interested, there is you guys can leave me with things in the description down below what you want me to pick up next time, although that's not really relevant considering you guys won't even know what I've got. But if you got anything interesting to recommend, obviously, and you'd want me to pick it up, maybe to talk about it if it's very, very good according to you. Now it has to be very good because I don't want to waste my time doing a review or whatnot for something very, very poor. But yeah, if you've got anything interesting, any interesting manga-wise to recommend, just leave it in the comment section down below. But I think that was it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I will see you guys next time. And until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day.